Welcome back to Turn Down for What? This special episode of Turn Down for What?
Special edition.
We're actually not live on Turn Down for What channels because that's how special this comment is. I'm in the middle of currently trying to get it onto the Turn Down for What channels because we are live. And
let's spend all of our time doing that. People won't care in the middle of the workday.
Hey,
Let them kind of build up the audience, got to build up the suspense.
if you're with us, thank you for being with us. Give a minute for everybody to come on anyways. But I need to start off by saying another day.
Another episode.
There we go.
That worried me. Thought he was going to.
Same bat time, different bat channel.
We do not own any of the rights to those trademark sayings.
I changed it. I changed the phrase. Can't you sample? You can sample a few. I don't know. I don't know the rules for that. I should know the rules for that. We shall see. But I like the new graphics. We got the PowerUp. We got Jessie with the awesome logo. Josh is just
with
faded
the blurred
in the background.
logo.
The
Yeah,
blur. Got
I
the
feel like the blur is a little bit more
on brand for you.
professional.
You can have a backdrop, but at least I don't have a sweater behind my left shoulder.
Well, that's a couch. I don't have a green screen. I need a green screen here. I need to do that over here. There we go.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
I said that before we started.
Did you get your turn down for what shared, or you need me to go in there and share it? I can go in there and share it.
You can. I think I did.
While they're doing that and working on this, I'll give you a quick update on what we'll be talking about today. Today, we're going to be discussing some of our site plans. So we're going to introduce the world today to what our charging station will look like. One of our renderings, including the new the new PowerUp America website.
So on brand here.
Yeah, I actually
gears
almost
correctly.
went the other direction. So we're going to be talking about our website, what we have there. Obviously, one of our sites that we're building right now is in Manchester, Kentucky. We talked about it. We are going to be documenting. We've already went through a bunch of headache on getting all the approvals to do the construction. So over the next few months, we hope to have this site built by the end of the year. We're targeting right now November. So we're going to take you along with us. We're going to give you updates. We'll do site visits. Obviously, I have some equipment up there and I'll be doing some work myself. But a lot of people have asked us what's going to go into the construction of one of these. So we're going to take you along with us on our Manchester site and do that. Today, we're also going to discuss the big, beautiful bill and its impacts and some of the NEVI awards. We've got a lot of people that's asked us about the impact of the Oregon ruling about NEVI. So if we have time later on today, that's what we're good. Are you ready to go now, Josh?
I'm always ready to go, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now he's ready with his blurred.
Woke up.
So
Woke up ready to go.
I will
Ready to go.
hand it off to him with my couch in the background and go.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. After months of love, labor, and a whole lot of belief in what Jessie and I have thought to be possible, today is the day. We want to officially bring forward our vision for a smarter, better, and more accessible EV charging network. Obviously, on the podcast, we've done a lot of talking and presentation of what we have been working on in the background. We've had several people actually ask us for an update on what we're doing, how we're doing it. And so today we want to introduce to you and tell you the story a little bit of PowerUp itself. So if you followed our journey, you kind of know a little bit about it, but I kind of want to rehash it just in general to kind of label out our full story if you aren't aware. You heard us break down the gaps in EV experience, the frustrations that we had with unreliable stations. But today isn't just about an idea. today is now about the build of the future of EV charging. We're officially setting this vision into motion, and it starts with the launch of something that we've been pouring months and months of effort to, which is PowerUpAmerica.com, our new digital home. This new website is going to introduce who we are, what we stand for as a company, and it's going to showcase the values that we've built on, which is reliability, innovation, accessibility, and community impact. And it's going to show you where we are headed, Jesse and I specifically, as what we're hoping to be as the new CPO that's going to really make a meaningful impact on the Southeast. To understand where we're going, I would like to also tell you where we started and why we've done what we've done and why we are at where we're at. In May of 2021, so flashback over 4 years now, I was deep in the world of real estate. I was had a thriving business in East Tennessee. I was developing and selling and growing something meaningful in the real estate industry. And while I loved what I was doing, I felt a very real pain, and that was the cost of fuel and the pain of the pump. While I loved that whole thing, that pain led me to explore the electric vehicle industry. Driving daily across the region, I was spending $700 to $800 a month on gas. It was extreme at the time, but I was driving an F-150. It got 21 miles a gallon, but with the amount of driving I was doing, it was a very real pain. I'd always been curious about electric vehicles. I liked the idea, the tech, the future that they represented, but I had never personally owned one. Being a big dude at 6'6", a little EV sedan like a Tesla just wasn't my thing. And so I never really jumped into that space because I was hesitant based on the available vehicle size. At that time, there wasn't really anything that was full size, ready and available. And then on May 19th, 2021, I remember the day because that's how awesome it was. The Ford F-150 Lightning rolled across the stage at like 9:30, 10 p.m. Eastern time. It was nighttime. They rolled it out with the light bar on it. And in that moment, for me, everything clicked. It wasn't just a truck. It was a solution for me for a problem that I felt every day. And before that announcement was even over, I had my reservation placed, and it was my next vehicle that was going to be coming forth. So in January 2022, 7 months later, Ford finally got to the point of issuing out the ability to order. And so I was allowed to finalize my Lightning build. And in May, the Ford officially rolled off the very first Lightning off the line. And that was an event that I also watched probably with you, Chris, and you, Jesse, Ford's initial event where they announced that. So excitement was building for me, and I was getting ready to excited to get my truck and have that as an impact in my life. And then something very unexpected happened. In June, there was a social media post that popped up that someone had spotted a truckload of Lightnings coming through East Tennessee. This was very early, and the very first deliveries were coming in place. And so somebody had posted on a Facebook group, hey, look at this truckload of Lightnings coming through East Tennessee. And there was this random guy that messaged on that group and said, hey, I'm in Kingsport, Tennessee, waiting for my Lightning. And I'm 10 miles away in Johnson City. And I was like, hey, I'm in Johnson City waiting for my Lightning. What do you know?
I rarely post on social media. So for
I
me
don't
to
ever
do
post
that,
on social media either.
like, hey,
my wife had actually convinced me to join that Facebook page, say, hey, if you want to learn more, go to the Facebook group. So I joined the Facebook group.
So now we know Josh doesn't listen to his mom and talks to strangers, but continue.
Precisely. And so that random guy, I reached out and said, hey, I'm in Johnson City waiting for my Lightning. Tell me about what you're getting. And we got excited and began to dialogue. That comment is what sparked the powerful friendship and the foundation for PowerUp. I did not have any idea at the time. That random guy, his name was Jesse Hensley, as many of you know. And we started talking about the truck, the tech, the potential. And just a few weeks later, we both received our Lightnings. We were one of the very first people in East Tennessee to receive it. I think I was the second one, and Jesse was probably the third one. And all of East Tennessee to receive that Lightning, very early adopters. And we got to meet up and take a group photo with our trucks for the first time. It was a unique introduction and got to kick off that journey and of discovery of what this new technology could
It's a
really
lot cooler than it sounds, folks, really.
do. And so with that, Jesse was working in the data center world and maintained that role. I was working in the real estate industry. I maintained that world. And then I took a road trip to Florida and got to really experience myself the infrastructure for the first time for DC fast charging and the public charging network. And you saw on a national level all of these major OEMs releasing new EVs, and there's this at that time, especially, there was a governmental push for EVs. And what I found was the charging infrastructure was delinquent. There was not reliable, there was too far apart. And there's this massive push towards electric vehicles with a major gap in infrastructure. And so it was just simply, in a word, frustrating. They were hard to find. I was trying to figure out the app systems. They were in an inconvenient location of these big box retail stores across the parking lots. And it was something that some were broken, some were full. I had to wait my turn, and you can't get to the next station because it's 100 miles away and you don't have enough range to get there. And so there was just a lot of inconveniences with that. There was even a stop where, we wanted to go grab a snack. We have to walk 300 yards in the rain to get in to grab a snack somewhere. And that's when it hit me. Charging doesn't need to just expand, it needed to be reimagined. And so when I got home, I called Jesse and I said, hey, we got to figure something out. We got to do something differently here. Let's do something in East Tennessee. Let's do something different in East Tennessee and make a statement for how charging should be done across the nation.
That seed was already planted, though, because even at that first meetup, me and you looked at each other and said, why don't we build a charging station in Johnson City? That day, I can remember talking to you about let's build a, and we looked into it. I've done development work for 22 years prior to my data center development work. But that was the day that we said, let's look at it. And then we found out, oh, wow, the equipment is $300,000. So we can't make any money. We ran the numbers. We couldn't make any money. And then you had your trip. Then the NEVI program dropped. And I can remember being at a large hyperscale data center. I can't say their name in North Carolina, and looked at my phone, and it was, dude, look at this. And it was the NEVI program. And that's when I was like, oh God, I'm going to get fired. So
Jesse and I were really looking at different ways that we could actually deploy EV charging stations. And at the time, especially with low utilization across the board, there's a need for infrastructure to promote the future. There's all these investments taking place into the EV charging industry. And yet a charging station with the infrastructure, because it was early in the infrastructure game, cost $400,000-$500,000 of infrastructure to get it placed. And so we really were just tossing around that idea. And that's obviously when the grant program came into place and really accelerated our thought behind what we could do in the charging industry. So
I just want to point out, Josh, this was the whole point of the NEVI program, was to take these corridors, these parts in Middle America that were being ignored by the big giants and behemoths of the charging world, and do exactly what you guys did. And I think that's one of the things that I really admired about you guys, is you went to your local community and you wanted to build that infrastructure for the people of your community, that largely the big guys weren't going to come in and respect and do. So,
no money.
kudos. Yeah. And so this program, that was the point of it, right? Is to bring this to an area that otherwise couldn't sustain it. And some may argue that is government putting their finger on the scale. But I would argue that is, bringing technology to a big part of the folks that are the heart of America, the soul of America. And it can't just be the big metro areas that get the benefits of this great technology that that we are developing in the U.S. and that our tax-paying money, including those in that community, have gone towards. So yeah, I admire very much what you guys did, and I always root for the folks like you, like Franklin Charging down in Arkansas. Those folks, Rove Charging down in Southern California, that are in their community making it work. So again, kudos and carry on there, Mr. Josh.
So yeah, so I mean, obviously, Jesse and I really spent the majority of 2023 trying to nail in the vision for what we stood for as a company. And building a company from the ground up isn't as simple as, hey, let's just start a company. It's really like you have to understand, set a vision, execute on that vision. And so we really were trying to hone in on our value proposition, what we wanted to bring to the market. How do you do charging differently? How do you make that to where a driver is going to have some of those experiences that they don't currently have, some basic amenities that you would expect out of a charging station didn't exist. And so we worked throughout 2023 to really understood what we believed in, what would make us different, what would we be proud to put our name on. And in 2024, we received validation for those efforts in January when PowerUp was selected as the 33% of the total award and 5 total sites across the state of Tennessee through the NEVI program. Obviously, Tennessee was one of the very early states to push out the NEVI program, and it was our home state. So it was a really good opportunity for us to step in and project that vision throughout the state. And so that's what we began to do. Came into motion where then we said, okay, hey, now we've established this use case in Tennessee, and we want to see that expansion grow throughout the Southeast. And so in January, Jesse and I were trying to figure out how do we take this beyond Tennessee? How do we get it to a more regional approach? And so in April, through connections that we had in the state of Tennessee, we got to be introduced to Des Carlisle, who was the chief of staff of the Kimbrough companies. It was more on a detached conversation, more around hydrogen. And Jesse, being Jesse, talking about hydrogen to everybody that breathed hydrogen.
It's going to take
Des
over.
was Des was instrumental in helping kind of get the foundations for the entity SHEA, which is the Southeastern Hydrogen Alliance, stood up. And so we connected to her through that, and we're talking about hydrogen and EV charging. And she said, hold on, stop talking about hydrogen. Go back to that EV charging conversation. And so we really got to introduce and lay that out. A couple of weeks later, we got introduced to the Kimbrough family, who's a third generation family owned company, oil company based out of Nashville. They have deep experience in fueling and logistics. And that meeting turned into a partnership. 3-4 months later, we were able to come to a formal agreement with them in which they saw the vision of supporting refueling at the pump, no matter what that meant. And they realized that the pump has many different variations. And so we are basically a wing of that, providing a new type of pump that is dispensing energy, because energy is dispensed in multiple different ways. And so that was where they wanted to they saw that vision, they saw what we had put together and believed in that value. And so they were willing to partner with us to help us really make a regional expansion into the Southeast.
And I do want to stop you there and mention with that, one of our other key points, and this isn't in the other part that I want to mention later, is about partnerships. You know, partnerships is the most important part, and high quality. So when Josh and I did this, it was all about having not just 150 kilowatts. If you go back to Turn Down for What's very first episode, it was about, is CCS dead? And we always laugh about that because from the very beginning, we asked for CCS and NACS chargers at that point from another company that went out of business throughout that period. But it was always about trying to provide the most for the EV drivers. We felt that was one of the key parts, and he'll go over the other parts of our site, but it's always been about what do we offer outside of just EV charging. It's about job creation. We have worked diligently to get partners who are in the Southeast and provide the equipment and make the equipment, make the conduit, make the wiring, everything that we try to push, whether it's switch gear, whether it's the sleds, all of this, the equipment itself made in North Carolina. All of these things are American made. We really want to push creating jobs and technology opportunities for the region that we serve. And some of that is why the Kimbrough family seen that what we were providing, or at least what we were wanting to build, was at the highest quality, which it fit their portfolio with their stations, is because it's not just let's throw this in a corner. Let's just do this stack system that you can't upgrade. Let's just do this 150 kilowatt charger because nobody's ever going to have an 800 volt system. We wanted to have what we think tomorrow's driver needs today, and that's what they saw in us.
And what we found was early in our conversations is the EV industry really is a baby industry as a whole. A lot of people had many years of experience in various energy portions of sectors, but there's not a lot of direct experience in EV charging because it is relatively new to the United States. Obviously, Tesla came on and the Nissan Leaf was around like 10 years ago. But if you think about a lot of the other industries, like the oil industry and some of those other industries, they go back many, 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 many years. And so this industry as a whole is very new. And so a lot of people were and are still trying to figure out how to navigate the waters of the current EV industry, and everything changes by the day, as we'll kind of talk about in a little bit. However, we really set out to say, okay, what is not the charging station for today? What is the charging station for tomorrow? Because the industry is changing, the EVs, the vehicles themselves are improving and changing. And so just because there's less need today doesn't mean that there's going to be the same need tomorrow. And so our vision was to build the charging station of tomorrow and not just for today. And so we are already seeing some of those technologies become a reality. Like Jesse said, very first episode of Turn Down for What was really digging into that CCS concept of, is CCS dead? And we had been ridiculed by some other industry leaders saying, well, no, CCS, like that's where the charging stations are. We're like, but really though? Like, is that really the case? And a year later, we got validated, and all of these OEMs are transitioning now. And yes, today CCS is still more than fine because all the current vehicles are that outside of Tesla. However, there's Rivians now on the road with next ports, and that's the future of the industry. And so you can't be so limited to saying this is how it has to be done. You have to have an open mindset to really look at the broader picture of the industry and say, hey, this is an evolving market. How do we future-proof our company to be able to be adaptable with some of those changes? And so we'll talk about some of the things that we've done on our sites to make us resilient, but also just really, how we've put some thought behind that for what that is, how it's all come to be. And so with that, with the Kimbrough family as a partner, we really began to shape the network that's rooted in reliability of their past experience, but also the innovation of the future of the industry. So since then, we were successfully awarded 2 sites in Virginia under the NEVI program to build. We were awarded 1 site in Kentucky, which we'll talk about in a minute. And that we're just getting started. We had a lot of momentum prior to the NEVI pause, which we will also talk about in a minute. And that's something that, the NEVI grant program itself really was an aid to us to grow and expand in those rural areas. And so that's where we're hoping to be able to continue that. And so PowerUp today is more than just an idea. It's a movement that's been built on a very clear vision and promise, which was to deliver innovative and user-friendly charging stations designed for real-world use, clean, safe, reliable, and located where people live, work, and travel. We want to collaborate with communities, local businesses, state partners to support economic development, workforce training, and EV adoption across the Southeast. So this isn't just about kilowatts. It's about convenience. It's about infrastructure that works for everyone.
And
Josh, that's why
we ended up losing.
We lost Chris. I know he disappeared.
Lost Chris, unfortunately.
I think he's going to come back. I'm going to keep going because he'll pop.
Keep going.
He'll
be fine.
He'll be back. And so that's why, and we would like to formally showcase for the very first time, if you've not been in our close network and been able to see it, the PowerUp site. Bam.
So that is one of the renderings of what our site will be very closely looking like. So this location will be our first in Manchester, Kentucky. You see on the bottom we'll have pull through on every lane. We're utilizing Kempower systems here. These are 400 kilowatt split systems with dynamic charging, meaning that 2 vehicles will go 400, 4 vehicles will go 200. That way we're always providing the most charge you can get
Yes. So, I mean, obviously, as you see, this is a pull through charger. This will actually be able to promote if you're a truck with a trailer, you will be able to pull up without detaching your load. It will have covers, which you would imagine would be a basic amenity that would be featured, but that's something that we will be adding to our stations, convenient locations. So really targeting locations that the drivers want to be, and a technology that's already scalable and future ready. So looking at, like we've talked about before, chargers that are 400 kilowatts capable of delivering the vehicle of tomorrow. Your average charge today is like 75 kilowatts delivered. It's not a 400 kilowatt delivery system. However, the vehicle of tomorrow, the Rivians, you're seeing the Cadillacs, the GM products with the Silverado and the GMCs, and even some of the newer vehicles with that 800 volt architecture, you're seeing charge speeds of 350 to 375. And as that becomes more prevalent, you're going to want to see the future of the industry where there is this extra element of attention brought, because you don't want to have a 150 kilowatt charger for a vehicle that can receive 350 kilowatts.
And we do understand that this could potentially put a stress on the grid. We are taking that into consideration. We are looking at battery storage at these sites as well. Also looking at the possibility of doing large scale battery storage for grid resiliency with partnerships with power companies at our sites. So we do understand that, hey, having four 400s might not be the best thing. And if you have four of those cars charging at one time, that could really put a strain on the grid. We understand this. So we're trying to create programs and ways to make that up. And that's kind of what we need to all work towards is, hey, we see that as a problem, but we have solutions for it as well. And in this case, the rectifiers, you see this cabling and you see the Kempower system here. The reason you don't see a huge box like you do other places, like if you stop at a Buc-ee's or somewhere like that, is the rectifiers, the actual charging equipment is off to the left. You see it over there, that beige color. It will be blue in our final rendition. But that's where we keep the rectifiers and the switchgear away from that center to give a more clean look. Additionally, each charger has its own screen, which we feel like is important, so you're not trying to share information with somebody. You also have NACS and CCS cables, so you won't have an adapter. And lastly, you'll be able to charge just by swiping a card or tapping your card. You don't have to have an app, though. We will have one with our partner Linkwell. You do not have to have an app for this. And in the background, you can see a design of a store. Now, this is something Josh has been working on with a large scale company. I'm not sure if we can say what their name is right now, but they do what's called a walkout store. That is something that we're looking to integrate. And as the NEVI program rolls back out, at least the 4 years that we feel like will roll out, we think we'll be adding those stores to several locations. Obviously, unique lighting. We're trying to finalize the look of that to where if you're charging, we're having some dullness, so we're trying to come up with different solutions for that under lighting that is unique. That's one of our main pillars is uniqueness. We want the user to have a unique user experience as well as safe and reliable. So those are our three main pillars for our sites. And again, it's EV drivers. As an EV driver, you see my truck sitting there. I want to be able to pull my lawnmower trailer or pull a vehicle through there and charge without having to unhook. I want to be out of the rain when it happens. And I want to have the fastest charge delivered to my truck that I can. Those are the items that, as an EV driver, we went out to build our sites for. Not for economy, not for how can we get the most money out of it. We want to make it to where it fits what we wanted. And I think between Josh and I and our team that's helped us with the engineering, our team that's helped us with the design work and the partnerships that we have, I believe this is going to be a very unique entry once we have the first Manchester site done by the end of this year.
Now, guys, I see there's 4 dispensers. Each dispenser has 2 cables. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
So can that split? So you have 8,
No.
or is
We
okay?
can, but we can't based on NEVI regulations here. So in this case, it is software driven, so that system has to charge just one car at one time. After the 5-year period, we potentially could split that. But again, then you have some awkwardness there. So, and if you notice too, if you go back, you'll see a space. Each one of our sites also has 4 parking places would be in this scenario right there, that car to the far right. We are going to be building that as well. We are going to have conduit in the ground. That is an expansion area. So in the event that this site has more travelers than what we expected, without incentives, we will go in and install more DCFC locations. We have also been talking to municipalities that have work trucks that could potentially utilize level 2. We may end up using those for level 2 charging and do a partnership with municipalities as well. So again, we're trying to figure out how to go into a community and serve that community the best way possible.
And to tie it all together, the big and final that gets Jesse the most excited is that we can also be host to buses and larger vehicles, because you're seeing in some of these rural communities where they have these electric school buses and some of these other technologies that are coming out, and being able to be a charger that if you're in a traditional parking space in a tight corner of a parking lot, you can't easily navigate a larger vehicle, the truck with the trailer, some of those other considerations. And we will have that capability to provide, whether that's a transport bus or a school bus or whatever that capability is, it will have the ability to have the turnaround capacity and the ability to get an average bus in and out the door.
And the other part about this, when we talk about upgradability, so we have a cabinet in the back. Our cabinet system will hold a total of 800 kilowatts. We could add more cabinets to that system and charge a truck with a megawatt charging system at 1.2 megawatt using infrastructure that we've already paid for, that's already in the ground, that's ready to go to use in another way. So again, it's all about how can we get the best bang for the buck. How can we do it with jobs created in the Southeast? And how can we do it in a way that's unique compared to everybody else? And honestly, there's some great players out there that we've talked to, and some very good national companies that do a great job of this. And when I compare what we've designed against theirs, I still think that we are taking the lead.
And so with that being the case, we would love, if you are watching, and if you do watch this video, for you to check out our brand new and introduced to the world for the very first time website, which is now released as PowerUpAmerica.com. I will also attach a little QR code to the screen. So if you want to be able to check that out and you're watching this, you can scan the QR code or go to PowerUpAmerica.com. We have the website is now available and live for everybody to be able to go and really dig into what we've been able to build. We've been working pretty diligently over the last year to really work more on brand identity and really perfecting the brand as we know it. For we changed our logo back towards the beginning of the year, and are worked on really getting a statement website which really showcase exactly what we've been building.
And when you look at that logo, the red on the bottom represents you coming into our station empty, you're charging, and you're leaving green full. So that's how we our team was able to come up with that. Love the idea behind it.
And so if you're watching this and you have any interest in kind of seeing what we've built, we have a lot of different resources and capabilities on here where you can see from the basic features that are offered on the website to our footprint of what we've been awarded, what we are building, and more sites coming online. Our app actually goes live later this week for driver experience. So stay tuned for the website and on our social media platforms for that. but also we will be hosting some. We have the ability to inquire to the podcast group on the website. But we'll have EV education. So if you want to come on here and you don't know anything about electric vehicles, hop on the website and we'll have some basic data for you, understanding the difference between charger types and EV questions and a glossary of terms in which, if you didn't ever get to it, we've taken a lot of pride into coming up with some of these basic terms that you'll find here, including terms such as ice hole. Because we at PowerUp do terminology differently, and so we have all sorts of different terms that you can come in here and see the different words and language and lingo that is used in the charging space, so you can become familiar. And if you are a business and you're listening to this and you want to have a PowerUp station at your business, we have the ability for you to come on and understand what we bring to the table, how we do it, what we do, and the ability to reach out to us with those steps. As well as if you're a fleet member and you're wanting to potentially electrify your fleet, we can do the same thing where there's data and information to be known, whether that's level 2 or level 3 for your business. And we can also, through our software, have the ability to give you custom tracking programs and things like that. We'll keep our news and other relevant data here so you can track with that. And the last thing I'll kind of highlight is our full story is on the About Us page, but also you can find if you are an educational partner, if you're a state partner, if you're a community partner, there is specific sites specifically catered to you to where you'll be able to hop on, linked to exactly what's relevant to you. And I'll let Jesse kind of dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. So what's happening right now in this industry for us is that we are working with the states that we initially started to talk to in the NEVI program. Now, as we all know, NEVI is on hold right now, waiting new guidance. Now, where are we at with the guidance is that there was a lawsuit that was filed and there was a ruling on that lawsuit. Unfortunately, even though that Oregon judge filed that, you also had a Supreme Court ruling last week that will limit injunctions efforts on such rulings. So we don't think that particular ruling through that is going to really affect the NEVI program itself. Even without that though, we felt like it's still going to be the FHWA providing guidance, and that guidance is what we got to use. And that's kind of what everybody's waiting on. They said spring was when it was going to be issued. Now it's into summer. There was a report that they said it will be available in summer. So that's what we have to wait on. There's a lot of sites out there that we feel like we could win. We feel like we have a very good chance of a large number in Georgia if that program comes back on board, when it comes on board. But we also think that there's a lot of these smaller programs through different state entities. One, for example, is North Carolina's CFAT program. We did apply for multiple locations in that. It's a much smaller scope. We are partnering on that, and that's kind of where these partners are. If you think, hey, we've heard about this on one of these things, we would like to have somebody come in and they cover the cost of everything. They come on our property. They put the highest charging, whether it be 2, whether it be 4 chargers or level 2 chargers. That's what we're going to end up doing. We're not stopping because NEVI is not here. And we're still trying to push to put these charging stations in rural communities because that's what we want to serve. These big states or these big cities are going to take care of themselves because there's a bigger profit there. But the Pearson or the small, 20,000 person population between these two gaps, these charging deserts, those are the areas that Josh and I are going to really focus on. And there's multiple programs right now in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina that we're exploring. And then we're looking at make ready programs through different power companies, whether it be Duke, whether it be Dominion, and trying to see if there is a way we can financially make the numbers meet. But there's a lot of experimental things going on with that. And we do feel like these $3 to $5 million programs through these states over the next 2 or 3 years, even if that's what fills the gap, we will be working on those. So if you're a municipality and you want to go ahead and send us a question and say, hey, keep us on the list. Here's a location we've been asking everybody to put chargers at. If we can't financially figure out a way to do it today, we'll keep you on that list. And when an opportunity comes up in your state or region, we will gladly try to work with you to try to put this infrastructure in.
Yeah, I will say we have partnered with many cities and counties and communities so far in our regional approach. We are a Southeast company. I mean, we are looking at the southeastern states from Virginia to West Virginia down to Louisiana to Florida, really just honing in on being an excellent product for that market. And so we have worked with several cities and counties, a lot of them in the different states, and we will continue to make that expansion. And if you are a city county representative listening to this, we would love to have a conversation, figure out how we can best bring electrification and opportunity to your city, your county, your community, because we are not just a business that's going to come exert our will into a location of our choosing. We want to have a collaborative approach to understand how we can best partner with you to deploy infrastructure and also find ways to make a real meaningful impact when it comes to our educational programs. And Jesse, I don't know if you want to spotlight some of that or if you want me to.
Well, on the educational side, again, with NEVI on hold right now, a lot of the sites that we were going to build, we're going to support in one way or the other, the educational workforce, whether it be lockout, tagout certification for students to learn how to work with medium voltage around these systems, whether it is for engineering behind the layouts and how to do the engineering behind the equipment. Any way we can do that and push those initiatives in the Southeast, we will. When you look at the car manufacturers in the Southeast that make EVs, you have a lot of these different schools with programs that support students going into those locations. So if we could locate in these programs a charger at your school, we would be happy to do that. Unlike other people, we want to push and we don't want to do it with junk equipment. We want to have the best equipment possible to do it, because we want to have equipment that then they could go to that school or go to school, work on that equipment, and then go to that company and in their manufacturing division and instantly start out at 100,000 a year. And that's the kind of thing that we would be pushing for. Some locations were able to do profit or a slight profit, maybe 1 or 2 cents per kilowatt would go towards an education program. Some profit share, non-profit share won't let us do that, but our goal is always to get some financial out of these sites and use it for job creation. That program isn't 100% on its own yet, but I think by the time Kentucky is finished, we'll have all the bugs worked out on how we can do that and make sure we have that fund for those students in those regions.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's beyond just charging infrastructure in a parking lot somewhere. We really are trying to do, within the grant program, we're doing more custom developments where we can do these pull through chargers, these covered chargers, and really add meaningful impact. And with some of the community grants or smaller state level grants, we're hoping to find strategic relationships with cities, counties, states, private industry, and educational firms to really add value to the community and not just be a resource that's in the parking lot, for a traveler. We want to be the partner for the community and add a way to host and promote economic development. And so we've been working very heavily with community college networks, technical college systems within each state to ensure that there's, meaningful impact being created out of this. And a lot of that is yet to come and is going to come to fruition. But that's something that we really are trying to make a heavy effort to invest, because, if we succeed as a company, the community will succeed. And we want to see that go hand in hand as we continue to expand.
Yeah, so you can you can find us when you go through the website, click on the actual information sheets and go through that and fill out your inquiry and everything. We have support at powerupamerica.com, or you can if you're watching, want to jot it down, it's simply Josh at PowerUp America or Jessie at PowerUp America, JSSIE. And that would get to us. And we, it might not be a good fit for us to help, but if you have questions about your own personal city's problems, or, hey, we want to own the chargers, or we have to own the chargers, we'll be happy to help you out. We don't have any qualms about it. It's relationship. And if we can help, absolutely, that's what we want to do.
Absolutely. And so from level 3 to level 2, we have solutions that we've explored that are, American made. That's
and hydrogen. We can do hydrogen if need be.
I don't know about that, Jesse. I think
we do. We can. we have the right partners that can. So,
but from the level 2 front, we weren't going to settle on a mediocre charger. We really honed in and found a vendor that's going to be able to help us provide reliable, fast, top end AC level 2 charging of up to 19.2 kilowatts. A lot of your public level 2 network is 9-10 kilowatt units. We really wanted to find units that can get you fully electrified no matter where you stop. So for our level 2 network, we're going to be heavily promoting those 19.2s to ensure that you have the best, most reliable experience wherever you go.
And let's
for the level.
Let me stop you there on this one. Let's just say you're a city and you have 20 level 2s spread out through your city, and they're always breaking down. We have a Buy America compliant. This thing is made in the United States. It is a 19.2. It does have the ability to charge people. A lot of times you went in first, they didn't charge. Now you're losing money on the deal, or you have a $30,000 or $40,000 replacement fee. We have a program that is the PowerUp. Oh my goodness, and I forgot the name of it. Plug back. Ooh, goodness. The plug back program. And what we will do is look at that system. We will try to see if we can come in without charging the city or the county or municipality anything, and replace those and do a profit share model on it. And what that does, it gives you that data. It lets you see who's using it. And, it is just going to be on whatever the standard cost share would be. We're not trying to double or triple the cost of what charging would be. It would be whatever covers that cost of install, and to put something that's of high quality in those communities. So if that has any interest, please reach out to us there as well, because we would be happy to look at your site and come up with a solution that fits your community.
And so, yeah, on the level 2 front, we have the plug back program, which allow us to replace existing units that might be broken down, or slower speed if you're wanting to upgrade that. But also we're looking at some freestanding investment opportunities into some strategic areas where we can do these deployments and add that amenity. So you'll see units coming live in the next 6 to 9 months, in which you'll have a larger presence across the Southeast for level 2s. And then on the level 3 front, we are not strictly sticking down the vein of only 150 kilowatts, like we've already explained. We really looked into the different manufacturers, trying to find reliability, consistency, but also upgradability and future proofing. And so with the units that we're deploying, they will all be modular based, where you have a detached power cabinet, as Jesse explained earlier, capable of delivering up to 400 kilowatts to a vehicle. That way the vehicle of tomorrow can charge. But also with us having organic NACS and CCS plugs, if you're a Tesla, your vehicle is going to charge at the best performance that it can at that charging station. And especially some of the newer vehicles like the Cybertruck, it actually can't necessarily get a full juice off of a older cabinet Tesla supercharger, where at our station it will be able to give you truly a top charging speed experience with the organic NACS cable that will be featured at our charging station. And so we've made a designated effort to have level 3s that have NACS CCS at every port, and that have up to 400 kilowatt capable. That way you really, when you plug in, you can have confidence that you're going to have the most reliable top charging speed and get you back on the road quickly. And anything else? So all that being said,
That said, also, if there are partners in different states, we are talking with a charging manufacturer that's built in Alabama. If there's an Alabama program that's specific that they can apply for, we would consider working with them and our other vendors to integrate some of those programs, because again, that's creating jobs in that community. Same way with Georgia. Yesterday I talked with a Georgia manufacturer, has a pretty good product that if we do a Georgia program, I would love to work with them as well. And again, it's creating jobs in those markets. So
yeah, with that being the case, obviously we've kind of talked about this now for 50 minutes straight. Chris has had so much insight to add. This is what I'm gonna say is the introduction to a series that we'll host on the Turn Down for What YouTube page. I'm gonna call it like building a CPO or whatever we want to call it. And Jesse and I and Chris will walk you kind of along the journey as we begin to build our first site, which we're excited to be bringing online. Hopefully prior to end of year. We're about to break ground on it in Manchester, Kentucky. So if you live in Kentucky, the sites and the renderings that we were shown is going to be constructed in a town near you. And that site was approved through the NEVI program before the funding pause occurred. And so we were able to have those funds obligated. And so we are in the process now of about to break ground on that exact rendering that you see. And so it will have the 400 kilowatt charging, the pull through, the covered, all of those things that we discussed. And it'll be our entry into that market prior to the end of the year. We are working on several other site opportunities and developments that will come very soon after. However, the immediate one that we would have is Manchester, Kentucky, which is now under construction. So we're excited to bring that. It's our first real footprint of a much larger vision that we have for the Southeast. And that's rooted in local partnerships, intentional design, and long-term value. And we're proud to be working alongside the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, KYTC, to help make that site a reality. So with that, this is just the beginning of our network where we're going to offer fast, reliable charging where people live, work, travel, not just in Manchester, but for dozens of communities like it. So go to PowerUpAmerica.com, check out our full website, comment on this post, send us a message, let us know what you think about the website and kind of everything. And we are committed to a driver-friendly experience. So if you are listening and you drive an EV, or you're listening and you have thoughts and input of like, hey, this would be something that I would want to see or would like to see. We are at the point that obviously with constructive projects, it might be harder to change, but we are an open book for feedback and would love to hear from you on ways that we can improve. We really did draw in a core group of people to really help provide insight, including Chris, including some of the other guys that are in our network, to understand really what the driver would want to see and expect to see, and to try to provide a charging station unlike anything else that's on the road. So the road's ahead's wide open, where we are excited to be building that and go the distance. But thank you for tuning in and joining along this conversation with obviously a lot more to come.
while you're in Manchester, make sure you stop off at Manchester Distilling. And if you're around there August 28th to the 30th, they have the Manchester Music Festival. It's a free festival. Very much should go. And that way you have something to do while you're there.
Manchester Distilling is going to be a brand new distillery that's, I think, opening very, very soon in Manchester. So excited to have them as a close partner in the region of Manchester, Kentucky. But many more announcements and things to come. Follow us if you don't on the PowerUp social media accounts. We have it on pretty much any platform that exists, from LinkedIn to Facebook to Instagram to X and all those. We'll have news and updates coming out of that. But also stay tuned to Turn Down for What, where we will be posting a lot of these video content about the creation of the site updates, and we'll be sharing that content on Turn Down for What as well. We, weekly host a live stream every Thursday night, most Thursday nights that is, where we're talking about just the tech, and it's a live feed where you really can comment as a listener and understand and see kind of what we're bringing to the what the different vehicle technologies are, and ask some of our technical guys what that looks like. And then most of the times on Tuesdays, we'll be posting episodes where we talk just about EV news and updates. And then sporadically around, we post updates like EV reviews. And Chris recently last weekend posted a video about the review of the Pepsi F-150 Lightning at the ACT Expo, and it's things like that. So we have lots of different content that comes out across the different platforms. So stay tuned to Turn Down for What, PowerUp on all the different accounts. Would love to kind of tune in and bring you guys along that journey. So, any other thoughts or questions to add?
Just excited to see it build
there.
out, man.
I think everybody on our team wants to see something going. So yeah, we're excited about it.
It has been 2 years of building the vision and really putting it into motion. And I would have loved to see us have a lot more construction. But what I will say is this: the time delays and the amount of effort have led to a better final product. And I'm proud to bring that to the market. And so we are excited to have this first site constructed, happy to bring you along and show you kind of what that looks like, and hope that you agree that it is going to be the best and most unique and reliable charging experience that you will have experienced as a driver. And so hopefully we can deliver on that in very short order and continue to grow that vision across the Southeast. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun to see that that first person pull up and charge and just see that, get some video going, maybe get a meetup over there in Tennessee and drive it from Tennessee to Kentucky and just do the whole, some kind of road trip to that charger.
I would love to see Mr. Farley there in a Ford for the first charge. That would be absolutely great.
What's the distance from Tennessee to Kentucky? What's the miles from?
I can make it.
Tennessee's a very wide state. So if you're from Memphis, it's like 8 hours away. If you're from our house, it's like 2 hours away. so
from your place, you could do a drive from there to there, charge up and come back.
I've drove there and came back already without charging. So
the whole point, Jesse, is to charge there.
We don't have a charger open yet. That's the point. So when it's open, we'll absolutely charge. But
I puckered. It was close.
Yeah. That's the goal.
On Friday of this week, I travel up through Kentucky through that region, and I have to find a charger because ours is not open yet. So that's part of the experience. But that's why we're bringing the site online, and would absolutely stop there if it was open and available. So excited to bring that one online and be able to actually have the first charging station available in Kentucky. It'll be fast, reliable, and ready to go. But yes, it's
unique user experience.
Yep. And like you said, we will have an grand opening event for that, and we'll expect Jim Farley to be there because that makes sense to have him bring down maybe by that point. It would be too soon. Like a rendering of the T3, he can come sneaking in and plug it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Roll up in the switch gear, man.
Hey, whatever you want to drive, Jim, you can come drive down and check it out. But no, we hope to have several different other industry leaders come in and be able to join in that opening. And we're going to see if we can get Chris Bowe out here because Bowe Family EV needs to do a review video of the charging station.
That would be a blast, man. Absolutely.
So. All righty. Well, we'll wrap it up for today. It's been almost a full hour of everybody engaging and staying with us. Thank you so much for tuning in on this special episode of Turn Down for What, but posted on our PowerUp pages. This will be the first of many bits of content around what Jesse and I are building and what we have done and put efforts behind. But like I said before, like and subscribe on the different platforms to our different, both of our channels, the Turn Down for What and the PowerUp, and we will keep you in tune with the journey. But for now, thank you for tuning in and stay posted. We got a lot more coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Turn Down for What. Make sure you're subscribed with your notifications on to tune in to more EV news and updates. See you next time.